I want to just see, first of all. Hey, it marked that I went live. You guys, do not deceive you. I'm back. I literally was just about to go on YouTube and watch videos, and then all of a sudden, I just got I got a random invite. I checked it. I was like, oh my god, I got an invite. I was like, no, I'm gonna start back up the stream, and we're gonna go. I didn't miss anything. Apparently, we're still starting stage 2. Spexy is gonna lead us to the green. We're back underway in stage 2, and this time I can see it. Listen to the roar as 26 stock cars go up to speed in Texas Motor Speedway. Oh man, you have to love the sound of that. Here comes Shake to the inside. He's making a move for second. Spexy's pulling away. They are almost 3 wide behind. There's a whole pack of cars trying to run down Spexy. Shake has moved up in the second. Hendrick in third. And how about this side by side, Jackson and Zach for what is that? Fourth. I had to think. Then you have Cody the Bear behind in 6th. These two having a nice good battle. I need to turn down the volume of my mic because I'm getting deaf. I'm turning deaf because of the sound of the cars. I can hardly hear myself over the cars. Anyways. We have still Spexy leading. Good job by him to currently lead the field. We talked about how in Miami he was banned from the league from stuff. I do not remember what happened exactly in banned, but he was banned from the league. He got unbanned and he ran Miami, ran up there with who idea arguably the best driver in the league, and now he's leading at Texas. Oh man, he's just someone you have to root for. He's such a nice person when you get to talk to him, and on the racetrack he doesn't like to race people dirty. I haven't really been raced by him dirty once of all my times racing with him, and it's the same with the guy behind him, Shake. These two have been very clean. However, Hendrick behind, he tries to be clean. He's maybe not the most clean when it comes when the win is up for grabs. He may not be the cleanest, and it depends on who he faces. And then you obviously have Jackson behind. So right now we have a train of cars. This is kind of what you expect. So all these cars, there's so much draft being built up because the drag on the cars and because they're all nose to tail. The draft is just so big you cannot pull out and make a run. Talking about pulling out, Hendrick, he ended up pulling out whether he wanted to or not. Now he's left on the outside. We're starting to see a gap form. It looks like behind the 19. It just seems like the second pack cannot keep up for whatever reason. They just can't keep up. There might be a couple cars that are just not able to, just don't have the pace, or just it's really erratic back here. Who knows exactly what's happening? As we see Hendrick on the outside, left all alone on the outside. Blakey T peeked his inside, but he's able to get ahead of Blakey T now. 3 wide here, nice little battle for whatever this is. The 7 car backed out of that, and the 15 is gonna get cleared. The 27. You cannot ask me what place that was, because I have no idea. Back up to the lead. Hendrick obviously getting shuffled out. That allows Jackson to move up in the 3rd, and don't look twice. It is Cody the Bear in 4th. I had to think of his name for a second. That was kind of sad. Okay, I'm trying to pull electric stream back up, so give me a second while I do that. So sorry for the not commentating for 1 second while I try to pull up, the stream. Alright. Electric is commanding that second pack. Obviously, Electric ran out of fuel. If you didn't watch, he ran out of fuel. He thought it was the last lap and ran himself out of fuel, which cost him a lot of positions. Then there was a talk around Shake pushing him, because Shake was just trying to be normal Shake and be nice, but Shake lost spots in the process. However, he was granted the spot back after pushing the 17 car. Now he sits back in second, right behind Spexy, and don't look twice, it's Jackson Altman. He's been peeking, it looks like he's trying to do something. Yeah. Now we saw Spexy, this is a little different to what we saw him at Miami. At Miami, he was kind of sitting at the end of the pack, just chilling. But now, it just looks like he wants to get up here in command, whether he likes it or not. Zach just sent a dive bomb on Hendrick, further back in the pack. I'm trying to find this here. My bad. Yeah, Zach in the 42 car sent a huge move on Hendrick, sending him back out of line, and Hendrick's not going to be too happy with that. And Heredia just sitting in behind. But it can be, in these points of the race, it can be crucial, just, you know, not be erratic or crazy with your moves. Just kind of be nice and chill. And that's sometimes all it takes. They are trying to fight for the bottom. The bottom is the preferred lane. If they fight for the bottom too much, you might see someone jump up to the high lane and try to gain a couple positions. However, that might happen later in the race when they're all battling for either the stage win or the race win. Here comes a move by Zach. He's been very aggressive in the turn one, and again he claims another victim in the 78 of Cody, but he might get caught with him. Blakey T is all over the bumper of Jackson, and Cody's not too happy with getting sent out of line. I would look out. The 42 has done that already now twice. He's just been able to, he's kind of caught people with their pants down, to say the least. Jackson not going to get caught with his pants down that time, as people would say. But he was just able to slip under two cars. Contact or not, he still made the pass, and that's all that matters. Now he's gonna get left on the outside, as Jackson kind of said, if you want to pass me, go on the outside. And Zach tried, just wasn't enough. Spexy still leads, Shake in second, Jackson in third. Jackson peeks to the inside of Shake, he's there. Shake's all alone on the outside. Let me try to get a better camera angle. Here's Blake riding on board of Blakey T, the 20 D-Walt car. He's behind Jackson, peeking to the bottom. That is why the bottom is so more important. Here we go. What a move by Blakey T to the inside of Jackson. He just dummied him, as some people may say. Juked him out. Who knows? Whatever terminology you use, Blakey T just did it to get P3 from Jackson. Jackson, he's gonna want that back. Good move though, all in all, and that's allowed Blakey T in the 20 car to get up in the P3. He sets his sights now on the 38 and the 45, who have been commanding this race for the whole stage so far. I wouldn't overlook that 42. He has caught people a lot of the time. I guess, yeah, he's caught people out in turn one already. He's caught two people out in turn one, and Heredia's kind of followed him. Heredia might catch him out though if he's not careful. Everyone, you might see, it might look like they're all friends right now, and especially when you see someone ride behind someone as we see him move for the lead. But later, oh, you'd be wrong about them all being friends. They are going to do anything that it takes for the win. Shake is going to lead the lap that time by, and Spexy has lost the lead for the first time all stage. And Blakey T trying to follow through, get up in the P2. Shake, I don't think has led this race yet until now. Just a good job by Shake. He was just able to slip to the inside. Why is the inside so important with these cars? It is, they're bogged down. They're so much more draggy, so it makes the bottom just more. It makes the bottom, which is the shorter way around, the better lane. And that's why you see everyone fighting for the bottom. Everyone needs to go to the bottom. You can't go to the outside. However, if they all fight for the bottom, they're gonna slow up because you don't want to miss the bottom. So the car leading on the bottom might slow up a lot, and it might allow a car just like that on the outside to get a run. A little more than that though. The 20 hit the apron that time. But something like that can happen late in the race and catch people off guard. 78 in this time. Well, he just pitted that time. 45 is clear, but he's going for the lead. He's going for bigger and better. Because everything's bigger in Texas. That is actually the name of the race also. Blakey T trying the side draft. Pulled the 45 back. And the 38 still leading though. You see, this track is wide. It can fit about 7 cars if you wanted to, and you can go about 7 wide in each corner, maybe even 10 wide up in the turn 1 if you wanted to. But it would not. It just is not feasible. You cannot do it because the outside lane is just so much slower. It's about a second a lap slower, if I had to guess. Maybe even more. You just don't get enough of a run on the outside to make it work. But we see tracks like Kansas where people will fight for the outside like they fight for the bottom here. Around is the 9 car. He was trying the pit, and I don't know if he got hit or he just spun. But that just goes to show how treacherous the pit entry is. It's very easy to spin or get hit. 38 just got moved. 50 car coming out of the pits. 4 wide for the lead. They were all freaking out. 38 hit the wall. The 66 tried to capitalize, and that sends the 6 in the middle. Blakey T to the lead. And they were all trying to get sorted out as some people start to peel off to the pits. I might have to charge my phone soon because that is running low on battery. Uh-oh. Yeah, you just see you have to fight for the bottom. You have to, absolutely. We have not seen a pass on the outside all race. We've only seen passes on the bottom. Unless you have help on the outside, you're a lone duck out there, and Heredia knows it. He is trying to lead the lap. He's going to, as Blakey T tried to pull off the side draft to hold the 6 car back, just couldn't get enough of it. When we talk about side draft, we talk about pulling the car back. That's what it does. How you do it, you hang on the quarter panel, which is, you see, just behind that right rear tire of the 66, there's that, yeah, there's that piece of car, like where Jackson was there on the 20 car, and you just, if you are able to get up close to it and take the air off of it, it's able to pull the car back. It's like you can just reach out and pull it back, basically, almost. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, depending on how you do it, and it works a lot in next-gen cars. However, the 20 car just got chopped by Jackson. That's what we call the Jackson Special. And that is not going to leave the 20 car too happy. Oh, 16, that is Jackson. That's another Jackson Special that he just pulled off, sliding through the glass. The 66 and the 6, that's a lot of 6s leading the field. And the second pack, well, there's the top 2 have pulled away from this pack. They are, I don't know if they're fighting for the bottom or they're signaling, hey, we're pitting this time. Also, when you pit behind someone, that is something you have to worry about. Hendrickson, he was signaling. Oh man, did he make it? He didn't make it. Hendrick did not make the pits. He's got to go around and make the pits. You see him trying to hit that commitment line. That's the red line. That's what marks you in or out of the pits. If you miss it, that is huge, and that just cost Hendrick the stage by missing that. That was a huge blow to the 66 team, who was having a great race. Now it's not looking too good for them. Shake and Bake currently leads. I think, no, Heredia leads. Actually, Shake Mason. I think Heredia leads still. So let's go to Heredia, who is, drum roll please, wherever he is. There he is. 6 car of Heredia is in the pits right now. He still is the leader. As of now, reminder, people are doing the undercut right now, so they're going to gain time initially by being on the track later, or by getting fresh tires earlier, so they're going to be running about 5/10 a lap faster. But with the newer tires, your tires, the cycle kind of, I don't know how to explain it, the cycle of the tires is later, I guess, so you're always gonna be at an offset, whether it's a 1/2 faster, whether it's a 1/10 faster. We don't see much. Usually it's about a 1/10 faster. 1/2 faster is usually what the overcut is per lap faster as the run goes on. 38 is the leader, so I was correct. He was gonna cycle out to be the leader. I just jumped the gun on it. So that was my apologies by that. I'm trying to find him, wherever he is on the track. There he is. Shake is currently the leader in the 38 car all by himself. It's gonna be, we see so many people making mistakes, and it could easily cost you the race. We saw Electric run up front in the first stage. Well, we didn't technically see it, but he was running up front in the first stage, ran himself out of fuel. Where is he running right now? 21st. He is almost lapped down. He is only about he's only about 2 corners away from going a lap down. If I had to say, about a half a straightaway. When the leaders hit the line, he enters turn 1. He's ahead of this car up here that you see ahead of Shake. That is not him, but the car ahead of him, I'm pretty sure. The car ahead of that car, I'm pretty sure is. Now I really wish lap 85. So they're coming to 86, which would mean, doing the math, about 10 to go, 11 to go. 10 to go this time. 10 to go. That's what it is now. As Shake hit the line. I cannot tell you who is second. I think it's at 30, well, not 30, the 78, if I had to give a wild guess. Now why are the 38 and the 78 so far ahead of the rest of the field? Why ahead of these guys? Well, it's probably a mix of, they probably took 2, to be honest. If I had to guess, they took 2. Or they did something called a undercut. They split the stage in half, basically. It's one of those two. They either took 2 or they split the stage in half. Yes, you can undercut by 1 lap, but if you kind of like split in half or pit the earliest possible, you are getting the most undercut, but you're gonna have the most worn tires at the end of the run. And we're seeing the 78. The 78, we know, split the stage. That is a given that he split the stage. He started the pit cycle. He was the first one to go on the pits out of the main pack. That is why he has such an advantage, because he was able to run on those newer tires while everyone else was on the older tires, getting about 5/10 a lap faster, being about 5/10 a lap faster each time. Where we see Heredia on newer tires is just able, you're gonna see the grip advantage here as Heredia in the 6 car just pulls around the outside. This is probably the first pass out of the main pack, or the main guys that we've seen around the outside. And why? A huge tire advantage. That just goes to show how much tires matter here. How much you can do on overcut if someone does that, and does, yeah. Like, it gained the 78 track position. He's probably going to be ending out about 4th, which is a good win for him. But you just see he's losing positions because he decided to get time now and lose time later. That is kind of where Heredia decided to lose time now, gain time later. And now we're seeing the gain time later start to happen as he is closing on 38. I almost have to guess the 38's on the same strategy as the 78, maybe just a couple laps difference on tires. We see Heredia start to reel in the 38. Heredia has easily been one of the fastest cars, just like he always seems to be. He has to win a championship in Hennessy in 2 days from now. Well, I wouldn't say he has to, but he is competing for a championship in Hennessy 2 days from now. But getting a little bit of practice, I guess, as he goes by the 38 for the lead. This time it was on the bottom. Shake kind of realized, hey, it's not worth battling. It's not worth making him go on the outside. He's going to pass me anyways. It just... Maybe I can leech off of him and lose a little bit less time. He is able to use the draft. The draft is where Heredia is punching a hole in the air, which is allowing the 38 of Shake to have clean air to the nose of his car, and it's allowing him to just kind of, you know, run faster. It's a lot easier when you're not, like, let's say there's something heavy ahead of you. If you're pushing it, the guy behind you is not pushing it, so they are going to easily go faster. And especially, this also is something that happens when you run track. So, yeah, little lesson on draft for people that don't know. However, most people watching probably know what draft is, but either way, I felt like just explaining that, just for, you know, the people that don't understand exactly how it works. Maybe you just learned something today. We are heading to lap 95 now. Well, we are on lap 95, which means there's a lap and a half to go, as Heredia goes about halfway down the backstretch. You see the big TV down the back there. That's one cool feature about Texas. You can see yourself on the big screen there. Off of turn 4, Heredia is one lap away from winning stage 2. And oh man, has it been, he's just been on the right strategy, doing the right things and not making a mistake. Zach is on about the same strategy, but he is just a little too much behind. I do not know what happened to Shake. You cannot tell me what happened to Shake. I have no idea. Anyways, off turn 4, Heredia coming off his win from Miami. He's gonna win stage 2 at Texas. And now you see him start to slow down as your stage 2 winner, number 6 car. Not electric, Heredia. Did I say that? Oh yeah, Heredia is going to, Heredia is asserting himself as being the main guy to beat, and that's what he's done pretty much every time he runs a race like this. He basically asserts himself as, if you're gonna win, you're gonna have to beat me, unless I beat myself, which hardly happens knowing Heredia. Most of the time someone ends up beating him. That's the only times he loses, really. Most of the time it seems like. I have hardly seen him get a speeding penalty. Talking about speeding penalties, they should be very rare under caution here. I think pits are open this time. I cannot hear the exact comms because I'm not paying attention to them. Yes, the 6 car is not pulling into the pits, so that means pits are not open. But however, when pits do open, you'll see every single car pull into the pits. Tires just matter so much. We saw what tires mattered. The 38-78 on old tires and the 6 and 42 on new tires. And look where the 38 and the 78 are compared to the 6 and the 42. Now we just saw how easy it is to get past on new tires. Man, when you have new tires, it makes you feel like Superman when you go past guys on old tires. However, when you have when you get new tires later and everyone else is on older tires than you, you also feel like Superman. So that's one kind of thing on strategy, but everyone is going to be pitting for tires. We don't have a tire limit, so you can pit as many times as you want. However, if you pit every lap, you're not going to be really able to use the advantage of the tires before you go in, and you lose about a lap and a half of time when you pit under green. However, when you pit under caution, you lose about no time because everyone else is probably pitting with you. But yeah, again, obviously we're under caution because of the stage, so that means that's why we see not everyone up to full speed, because we're under caution. So as they all pull into the pits, not surprising, It looks like the 12 is going to stay out and take the wave around, if I had to guess. I don't think he actually... yeah, he's taking the wave around. That is what the 12 is doing. Now we see the 42 is in, and the 6 going all the way down to the end of the pits where his pit box is. Not the first one, but it's one of the first ones. It's the third one. Well, it's the third last. All the way down. Wow, that you love to see the mechanics. 6 and 17 pit right beside each other. Fun little RFK thing. Even though I don't think they're named RFK in this. Either way, race off pit road. 6 cars gonna win the race off pit road. 42 in second, and then it goes 78, 45, and 9 car. We haven't seen the 9 much this race. We haven't seen 9 so much that I don't know who that is. Last place, that is who it is. He is not running in last place right now, obviously. So, yeah, and then Jackson Altman behind him. We are getting ready to start stage 3. This is where it is time to push. This is where the money is paid. This is where you make the big bucks. This is the most important stage of the race that we're about to start. The other 2 stages, they were just giving out points to the top 10. Now, this is where everyone gets points. This is where the winners get decided. This is where... yeah, this is where the winners get decided. This is where... if you're gonna make a mistake, you don't want it to happen now. As we're getting ready to go to do the choose cone, to start stage 3, and this is one of the most important chooses of the race. If you can choose now, unless you have a late race pit stop, this might, well, late race caution, this might be the most important, well, this probably will be the most important choose. As you see Heredia picking the bottom. We see the 78 who was in 3rd, he picks the outside. How will that play out? Now, for the 78, why did he pick the outside? Well, he was running in 3rd. If he was in 2nd, he would pick the bottom, like the 42 did. But because he's in, in 3rd, well, he was in 3rd, he'd rather take the front row instead of being 3rd on the bottom where the 45 is right now. So that kind of goes to show. And especially if you see a lot of people picking the bottom, why not go to the outside? Because, you know, you never know. Someone might make a mistake on the bottom. Next thing you know, you just netted out 10 positions. So that is kind of the method to the 78's madness. However, it's not like he's going to gain 10 positions. It's more like he's hoping to gain 1 or 2 if he can get down to the bottom quick enough. As we go into the Geico restart zone, getting ready to kick off stage 3 in Texas. As now we hear again 26 machines all getting up to full speed. You're hearing the roar of the engines as you ride on board the 6 car, and you can hear the virtual crowd going wild. It's a virtual sellout at Texas, and you can hear them all cheering as they go down the front stretch. Talking about going down the front stretch, the 42 tried to make a move, but that was to no avail. How about the 45? And that is Spexy behind. Where did the 78 go? We don't know. I think I can see him behind the 66. That is a net loss. And there he goes further back on the outside as he made contact with someone in the back. Heredia is going to lead another lap. The crowd's still going wild. They have not stopped going wild since the restart. Now, this is where most people would elect to ride and just kind of chill out. Make sure that they're at the end when it matters. However, if you're outside the top 10, if you're outside even the top 5, you might be like, hey, I want to make a move. I want to do this. I want to do this because I might lose the lead pack, and that's going to be my shot for the race gone. So especially if you're in the middle to back half the pack, you want to make as many positions up as possible, as fast as possible. But if you're in the front, you're like, I don't want to lose these positions, so I'm just going to be careful. Heredia currently leads. This can be a disadvantage if everyone's able to save. Well, if people are able to save some fuel behind and go longer. How will going long matter? Will someone try to undercut and gain time? We don't know. These are all questions that will be answered throughout stage 3. Heredia leads another one to add on to his total. You see the 66 left on the outside. He just made contact with the 9. The 2 is also there. That is Tactical Strap on the outside. We haven't seen him much this race. They're all, you see them blocking later in the race. When we see them blocking, you're gonna see the lead car on the bottom hit the brakes. Just because they are getting moved, they don't want to slide up, so they're slowing the pace down so they don't move up. 48 in the grass, but that will allow people to go to the outside if they slow down enough. 48 going through the grass. That was not a great trip for him. However, it didn't look like he lost much. He is still behind the 66. How about the 66 making a move on 9 and almost the 16 too? How about let's go 1 lap silent so we can hear the engines. Man, you have to love it. That was 1 lap on board the 6 car. You got to see everything he did. One unique thing you can hear when you really can hear the engine is the off throttle time. You will know when the car is full throttle because it will be screaming, asking for mercy, but you can hear the difference in the engine tone when you start to lift, when you start to save, so you can really hear if the engine isn't loud enough. Okay, they're going half throttle, they're not going full throttle, which means guess what, they're probably saving. So that's one thing. If we kind of go through the field, like kind of go a couple cars back, we can probably hear a couple guys not going full throttle, kind of going half, and trying to just save some fuel. Maybe see if they can extend the fuel can longer so they can go longer. Maybe pull some sort of strategy to put them on the best tires throughout the run. However, they're going to lose again on the short, or they're going to lose in the short term, gain in the long term. It is a long-term investment, definitely, if you try to overcut. Yeah. We see the top 5 about. They're all pretty good drivers, and that's why they are all kind of working together. Heredia's still kind of going defensive, making sure the 42 doesn't get to his inside, but these 5, even with going defensive, are still kind of able to gap a bit, or at least speed up the pace. And speeding up the pace definitely helps. When you're not battling, you can speed up the pace, and that will hurt. That will make it a lot tougher for people in like further back in the pack trying to save some fuel. It definitely it limits that and makes them have to push more if they want to keep up. Hold on 1 second. I thought I heard someone knock on my door. I guess not. Anyways, battle for second. I was clicking the wrong button. Anyways, battle for second. 45, Spexy went to the inside of Zach. Zach is going to be left out to dry on the outside. We can see now as Spexy moves up in the second. Whoa, 78 in the back. He almost lost it. He started on the outside. He has now lost his track position, and he's losing his mind. It looks like 42 all the way up the track. That does not really work. Again, if you're at the front, a smart thing to do would be to click off laps. Try to, again, save fuel. Try to do whatever you can to gain an advantage on the guys ahead of you later in the race. That's what everyone is doing right now, as they sit here and watch Heredia lead and watch his lines and watch what he's doing. They can kind of do that, but do it at a, because they're not having to pull the field, so they can do it half throttle and not be going full throttle, and that's allowing them to save fuel. Hoodie is having to go wide open pretty much around the whole track, which is hurting him. Well, I did hear my door get knocked on, but not that time. Anyways, back to the race. But yeah, as I was saying, Herdier has to pull the whole field, so he's going wide open, which is burning fuel, and especially in these cars, they are gas guzzlers. They naturally, over time, lose fuel. So, fuel is going to be a big talk, no matter what. Even if it's not a saving race, people are still going to save fuel. Why? To get an advantage. An advantage is always something that everyone wants, and everyone's striving for. That's why, as we see when we see pit stops play out, the guys that can go longer, guess what? They probably save some fuel. They were probably able to, you know, lift a bit and save some fuel so they can make sure they can make an extra lap or 2 or 3 if the pace was really slow enough. However, the pace is definitely not slow enough, as these front cars are absolutely flying. As we see the lights on the, as we see the caution lights there, they're greens. That means we're still racing. Even though they don't turn yellow because we don't have automatic cautions on, so they wouldn't turn yellow. They would stay green even though it's a caution. But we know if it's caution because everyone would slow down. But yeah. Now that kind of the action has settled down, let's kind of scroll through someone in the middle of this pack about, and see, you know, how much throttle input they're using. Who's a good person to look at? I think Zach will be a good person to look at and see his his throttle trace. Let's go on board with the 42 for at least a lap. Now I want to do a lap dissecting this here. You can kind of hear he's not fully throttle. If you know what a car sounds, you know that, yeah. And then you hear it kind of change sounds. That's because he lifted. So now he's gaining back the energy slowly. You hear it, he's not full throttle. Even more backing off the throttle, you can see the gap kind of gaining. Now engine changes sounds, and that's because he lifted. Now he's kind of going back into the throttle, and that is kind of the throttle trace we can hear and kind of see from a guy running about, what is this, 6th place. Again, I would look out for that 42. You can see him kind of giving some space, so we know he is saving. How much? Probably a bit. Obviously he's not necessarily trying to make it to the end, he's more trying to get an advantage on the guys ahead of him. That is the mental strategies that's going on in this race. Mind you, even when it is a calm point in the race for someone like fans to watch. Damn, my controller died. Right, so controller died. But even when it is a calm point in the race for us fans to watch, in the cockpit, in the driver's seat, you are constantly thinking, oh, can I save a lap of fuel and go longer? Can I push now and try to send some people out of line, gain some track position? Do I back off and save more fuel? Do I need to save tires? Do I jump up to the outside right now? All these thoughts. Who's going to work with me? Who, if I do save, who's going to also be saving with me so they can go? Because you need help. You can't just do it by yourself when a whole pack of 7 or 8 cars is doing the opposite strategy. That just doesn't work. If they're all together, that doesn't work. If they get spread out, that's where it works. 17 just hit the apron. That caused a check up further in the back. The 18 jumped up to the high lane. That's just quick thinking. Oh, check up, I need to go. 9 just went through the grass. 78 just pitted. Pit stops are starting. We saw the 78 in the first stint go long and, well, not go long, split the stage in half and go and try to pull a huge undercut. Here, it's not necessarily, I don't think he's necessarily splitting in half. He's probably splitting it in a different, but that's definitely a strategy. He didn't have track position, so he said, you know what? I'm just gonna go and try something else. Why not? And when you're further back, you don't. That doesn't matter. You can kind of just try whatever you want and see. You know, you can try an absurd strategy that probably wouldn't win you the race, but you might as well try it. Why? Because you're not gonna win the race running out of the draft in 15th place, but you can win it if you get track position, get a caution at the right time when you're in that undercut and you have that track position, or go along, get that caution. 7 car parked in the grass. That is a dangerous spot to be parked. However, like, get a caution when you are one of the only cars on the lead lap, trap a couple people lap down, get some track position. I don't know, something you can try to go and get some track position, put yourself in the mix if there's something happen late. That is what some guys might try to do later in this race or throughout this race, and potentially give them a shot to win. Because if you're not in this front half the field, you're probably not gonna have. If you're on this front pack all in screen right now, you probably don't have a shot for the win. So you might as well try something else. Blakey T is in the pits. I can't tell if he is out of the race or if he is not out of the race. However, some guy is definitely in the race. That's her idea. However, he is going to be peeling off this time. 66 going with him. Hendrick and Heredia have pitted on the same lap pretty much every time. There is a car flying in behind. I still can't tell who that is. It looks like the 3 car. I heard a couple people pitting this time, but these are the guys that really didn't save. Heredia, I bet you had to pit that time. Why? Because he's been running wide open the whole time. How about Spexy? Does he have to pit this time? A lot of people. You don't want to make someone speed. Oh, Electric missed. I think the 45 just sped. Electric's out of fuel. Someone, I think, came plowing in behind Electric and ran into him. He was Heredia coming off the pits. There's the 17 who was low on fuel, or out of fuel at that point. He has to go around another time. He can't just back up. He's too far past. Now we see the 6 and the 66. This is big. They're not linked up. That is huge. Now here comes the 19, who is definitely pulled an undercut in the 3 also. Now we see Shake is one of those guys also kind of in that pack in 38 car. Now let's see how Heredia rejoins compared to them. Reminder, with the undercut, he's going to definitely gain some track position initially. However, how will the 16, the 48, will they be able to catch over the run, or will this just be it? Will Heredia just pull away and lead? The 16 needs to go and get somewhere. I think he's going to get in 4th, just behind the 19 and the 16. Electric's in the pits now. He had to go 1 lap later. Now he's just salvaging what he can. It's a heartbreak for Electric. He's lost out on many points this race, and that just adds on to it. Hendrick is pretty much holding this field back. Now, Jackson's going to be a very important candidate in this race. The 19 is probably not. He's on old tires. I'm guessing he was doing the same thing that the 78 did, if not worse than the 78. Well, not worse, but you know what I mean. Completely different to the 78. Electric's coming off the pits now. He almost will go a lap down. He actually might be a lap down. I could not tell you if he's a lap down because I don't know. Actually, caution is out. Caution is out, and this is gonna rack them all back up. The 45 did speed, by the way, but now with a caution that will get everyone back up, and now it's a complete reset. Now, will this be the time? Will this be the choose of people's race? Will this decide the race if whatever lane you choose? Now, reminder, that will come up in a couple laps. We still have a couple procedures to do. One of them being pit stops. Who will pit? Pretty much everyone. Once pits are open, they're not open this time. 9 car getting his lap back on the outside. We see the 45 and 18. Those are 2 people that sped coming into the pits. They are all the way back there. You saw the Eminem's car and the car behind him. That was the 48. Well, that was the 45 behind the 18. The 18 is the Eminem's car. Man, I can hardly hear myself because I turned up my mic audio. But now, I mean, for reference, here is what a car on the caution sounds like. Completely different compared to what it sounds like when it is up to full song, up to full speed. As we come into turn 3, pits will probably be open this time if I had to give it a good estimate. Pits are open, I just got a confirmation of that. Imagine I'm unmuted. Oh man, that would be funny if I was unmuted in the Discord and I was just talking the whole time. That's on me. Alright, everyone's in this time. Yeah. Heredia is gonna lead everyone in. The 66 is peeling off into his box. The 6 is not gonna be too far behind him. We know the 6 has won the last pit stalls here. Everyone is pulling into their stalls. The 27 has the last pit stall. He slides in there. The 17 is gonna slide in ahead of the 6 or into the 6 because we love the game. And the 50 car is coming out of the pits now. We love the strategy. This is strategy we'll see for track position. The 17 just pulled one also, and the 6 beat the 16. The 6 is gonna come off third. Oh man, Heredia is gonna be worried about how this is gonna play out. If you're Heredia, you have to pick the bottom. But will someone try to pick the outside and try to do something different? The 17 is not the leader, by the way. I don't think. Actually, he might be. The 50 car might have just... yeah. Electric is the leader. My bad. Heredia is going to be on in second now. Now, because Heredia is in second now, what do you pick? That is the question. The obvious answer would be the opposite of Electric. But why don't you pick the same as Electric and then somehow move him up the track in the turn 1 and get track position, get the lead, there you go. Because if you go on the outside, you're not going to get a good jump, and you almost know that unless you time it perfectly, which hardly happens. It's just, how much do we think tires will matter here? That will be the difference and the decision for what people decide. Heredia is going to the bottom. He thinks tires don't matter as much. Hendrick thinks they do, and he goes to pick the front row. Some people may say winners pick the front row, and that's what Hendrick has got to be thinking in his head right now. 38 picked the outside. He's going to be on the outside of Heredia, but we saw most cars picking the bottom. They do not feel comfortable with that outside, even if there's a car on the bottom that has old tires on them. I think the 17 took 2. If I don't know exactly. I don't know why I'm doing the Donald Trump hand signals, but I don't know exactly if the 17 took 2 or none. But either way, he does at least have 2 old tires, if not 4 old tires. Here we go. We're getting ready to come off of 4. Getting ready to go in the Geico restart zone. The 17 car will lead us to green with a 6 behind him, 66 on his outside. Let's hear the roar of the next gen engines in NASCAR 85. We see already 2 by 2 for 3 rows back. And now the top 2, the 17 and the 6. The 6 wants to make quick of the 17. Doesn't matter if he's on 2-lap old tires or 17-lap old tires. He's going to still make the move no matter what, because he doesn't want old tires to be ahead of him. Sometimes being too patient is something that can cost you the race, and Heredia knows that. He's going to go and make a move for the lead, and especially with the 16 behind him. 16's not going to be patient. He wants the lead. Here comes the 16 talking about him. He's going to move up in the second. Now the 19 on the inside of the 17. The 6 is going to lead the lap. The 16 is going to follow the 6. The 17 gets clear. For how long? No, the 66 left on the outside. Remember, 66 picked the outside to start the stage. Well, not start the stage, start the restart. And now he's going to be paying the consequences of that. 19 just moved up in the third. Oh, Jackson tried to peek, then backed off. Elected to back up the corner. That hurt the 19. 19's going to get shuffled all the way out. Look out, outside wall. The 27 almost hit it. Wow, they are going insane back there. They are forcing each other into the grass. The 66 and I think the 38 made contact. However, the top two starting to pull away as the 17 of Electric able to get his track position, but for how long will that stay? Contact 66 and 78. The 38's just kind of there, just ahead of them. The 17 is holding up the field as the top two pull away. 6 and 16 are going to be the leaders right now. Will they be able to break the draft? I don't think so. But if Electric stays like that, probably. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, as we see 3 wide in the back there. Just off of 4. Let's kind of scavenge through, and look, there's a 66 car of Hendrick. He's on the outside. That is your Daytona winner. He's stuck on the outside. The 27's also stuck with him. The 19 hits him up. They are 3 wide now behind the 19. The 42 trying to make his way back up after losing some track position. One guy that's been making his way up after getting shunted into the pits, that's the 45. He didn't have to pull some miraculous strategy to get track position. He just used the fact that he can pass people. He just used his racecraft to make passes, and that's what's put him up near the front. And that's just a good job by Strexy as the 19 sits behind him and the 42. The 18, another guy that had issues in the pits. He's just tagging along to the end of this pack with the 4 car. As we see kind of everyone start to pull in the one lane and start to draft. This is the side effects that you get with an next-gen car. Yes, you get fine racing, close racing, but you also get single file racing. People complain about in real life them running single file. This is almost the equivalent to that. 42 is pitting this time. Some interesting strategy. He's going to pull an undercut on everyone. So you see him pulling to the outside, everyone giving him space, as I would say as I said they would. Now you see the 42, no one near him as he pulls off into the pits. I think he's going to make it into the pits too without any major issues. Back to the lead, the 6 car currently leads, still 16 behind him, and then the 17, how about that? And then the 38, 78, also there. I thought I saw someone's hood flaps fly up. But that's not a mechanic in the game, so that confused me for a second. They have 20 laps on fuel, so I don't know why some people were pitting. I need to turn up my brightness so I can see how many laps are left in the race. I can't see this time by, but I'll check next time by. As you see, kind of the gap is starting to form between cars. That usually means the car that is behind that gap is usually probably saving some fuel. Probably, you know, trying to gain an advantage, as we explained in the last stint. Now we're going to see it in this stint. It's going to happen every single stint until the last one. That's where you try to squeeze every tenth out of the car, every millisecond out of the car. Talking about every millisecond, that is what Electric used to almost get by the 16, but it has allowed the Heredia to pull away. I want to check how many laps did it go this time. That's the 27 all the way on the outside on it by his lonesome. 23 to go. They don't have enough fuel. It's looking like it's going to be borderline between no tires or 2 tires. If you pit now, oh, what's going to be the strategy? If you pit now, probably 4. Well, not if you pit now, it's going to be 4 tires. Just can you make it? Probably. Definitely going to be really close. That's what the 42 was doing. He saw the pit window open, I'm pretty sure, and he said, you know what? I'm pulling in now. Me pit now. That's what the 42 said before he pits. I don't think that's actually what he said, but that's what we can interpret from him pitting. Texas obviously had being reconfigured. Turn 1 and 2 were reconfigured in 2017. Arguably that affected the racing in a negative way. Now Texas has been pretty much what we see right now, just a one-lane train on the bottom. So a lot of people in real life don't really like the track. Me personally, I like the track on the game, not in real life though. However, if you go back to 2013 Texas, 2014 Texas, even 2015 Texas, you would probably see a lot of good racing, because that is what a lot of it really was. Back then, Electric now stuck in the middle as Jackson made a move for the lead. Electric had people wasting no time with him. Electric's not going to lead the lap though. Here comes Shake, peeking to the bottom. They're 3 wide. Electric's got to be like, come on, man, I just want to get clear. 3 cars coming out of the pits. Look out. They are still 3 wide for second, and Shake is loving what he's seeing, able to manage the lanes and try to get as good of an arc as possible. Again, the pit window is open. The pit window's been open for laps. It's just these guys will probably run to the end of the fuel run, which is about 15 more laps. Correction on that? Yes, about 15 laps, maybe 16 laps if someone really pushes it. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. The only thing I don't like with the 42 strategy is the field is still very compressed. They're not necessarily putting off slow laps. They're putting off pretty fast laps. So I don't think the 42 is capitalizing on everything that he can be. Blakey T also is out of the race. That's something I just noticed. Unfortunate for him because he was doing really good in stage 1. And start of stage 2, he was looking really strong, and I feel you gotta feel for him. Now the 17 and the 6 side by side. Now it looks like the 6 has now kind of fallen back into a position, maybe not where he wanted to be. Maybe he wants to control the field, but if I'm in his position, I'm liking where I am. I have touch of the leaders. I can kind of sit back and save kind of what I burned by leading the field. Well, people like Shake and Jackson, who are constantly trying to lead the field, keep burning up their stuff and burning up their stuff, and I would look out. Again, I have to mention, when it comes down to overcutting, when it comes down to managing their stuff, there is no one, well, I would say no one better, but one guy I always have to mention is Spexy. Every time we talk about managing stuff, he's always going to be the head of the conversation. Why? Because I have raced with him for a while, and I know his style of racing. He kind of has the same style of racing as me, where you kind of sit back, save your stuff, and when it kind of gets nearing the end of the pits, when people start losing when people start losing their tires and losing everything, that's where you start to capitalize. Jackson is in the pits. I thought the 38 was going to follow him. He didn't though. I think a car followed Jackson. However, at this time, 15 to go this time. Electric sits in 9th right now. That's the person who I'm watching. That's the person stream who I'm watching. That's who I'm watching. That's the person stream that I'm watching. Jeez, I cannot say that. Shake leads right now. We see people pitting right now. The strategy for them, take 4 tires. They're undercutting 4. This is where we see, this is where I like to do it. This is where, if you're going to take 4, if you're going to undercut 4, this is the time. This is the time and place too. Because this is when the field is starting to get split up. That's when it's starting to kind of narrow down. From 8 cars to 7 cars to 6 cars. That means the draft is less powerful. That means that means they're not running as fast laps. That means you can capitalize more on the tires. Just how much of an undercut is enough for you to make, well, to be a factor in the end of the race. We saw the 38 and the 78 in stage 2 pull the same strategy that we see people like the 16 and the 42 doing. Now we're gonna keep an eye on them, see where they come out. They're probably going to come out in the lead, just for how long? How long will they be in the lead for? Also, what a lot of these guys are probably going to be doing is they're going to be going as long as possible, taking as least as possible on their pit stop, making it the fastest possible, so you can get back on the track as fast as possible, and potentially win the race that way. That's why it's borderline between 2 tires and no tires. No tires is better because it shortens up your pit stop. And if you can save enough to take as least amount of fuel as possible, that's great. You can make like a 3-second pit stop, which is amazing. However, it's can the tires make it? You don't want to blow a tire, because instead of you pitting and taking the extra 5 seconds that you would for taking tires and losing like 5-6 positions, you would lose by blowing a tire 10 positions, maybe even 15, maybe even 20. So that's something you just cannot do. You cannot be over aggressive when you try to make the call for the win. 38-78 in this time. We saw them both undercut last time. This time they're pitting about right around what you would take for, it's borderline between 4 and 2, probably about 4 for them. Yeah, we see Swexy lead now. It's not the best place to save your stuff, but either way, we digress. It doesn't matter at this point. Well, so far in the run, you have made your bed, and it's time for you to lay in it. And half the people just decided it's my time now to put on new freshies. And that they just showed their cards. They said, I'm going out now. This is the far as I'm gonna go. How will a 45, 19, 66, how will they respond? We know how. I think that's the 44 will respond. He's in 4th. He's pitting this time. However, the top 3, they're not pitting this time. They're going as long as they can. They are running it to the end of the field, taking as least as possible, making their pit stop the fastest. However, the only issue is they're losing so much time by being out here on old tires compared to guys on new tires. How will that matter? We will see. This is all the strategy that's playing out. A lot of strategy. We see, I think the 45, I think the 66 are pitting. What about the 19? Does he go longer? He's pulling up the track. 66 is in this time. 45 in this time. They both make it. 19 to the lead. That is the strategy playing out. The 19 is going as far as he can. This is the strategy. This is what it's going to take to win the race. This is everything that you were seeing. 4, 5, 6 different strategies playing out. Oh man, is this gonna make your brain hurt if you don't understand what's happening. But oh man, is it interesting if you know what's happening. 19 is pulling in. He will be one of the last of everyone else to pit. I think the 48 may have just pitted. Well, not pitted. He may have just quickly. No, 19 still the leader. However, let's go and find a couple guys like Heredia. Here's Jackson. Here's where he sits. This is where he is right now. He was one of the guys that took 4. Where is everyone else that took 4? I have no idea. To be honest, here is Swexy. This is where he rejoined. That's where Hendrick is, and that's where the 48 is. Swexy is provisional leader in Texas. Here's the 19 out of the pits. The potential race for the win. Here comes the 45 around the outside. 19's not up to speed. Pass for the lead. 45 is in command in Texas now. We are hitting 5 to go. This time by the 19 rejoins behind the 48. The 66 is trying to run down the 45. Is it going to be enough? Is he going to run out of time? 5 to go in Texas. Oh man, how has this race played out? It's been so interesting. The strategy's been all over the place. But who would have known, who would have thought out of all the strategy, all the math that has gone in to this last stint, to this last pit stop, that it was going to be the simplest strategy that might just win you the race, going as long as possible, taking as least as possible. 4 to go for the 45 car. The 66 is not close enough. He is running out of time. He has 4 laps to run down the 45. Swexy, we were missing the Cinderella story. We had Hendrick win. Hendrick's in 2nd right now. He was the Cinderella story of Daytona. Swexy was the Cinderella story of of Miami, but however, he was not able to pull through. He lost to Heredia. Now, he wants this so bad. 3 to go. 50 cars on the outside. He has no one near him. The cars that are close to him aren't gonna be close enough to challenge it, or to be a challenge. All he has to do is make it on fuel, make it on tires, and he will be all good. Off turn 4, 2 to go, this time by for the 45. The 40... Smexy in the Michael Jordan 45 car, driving in the same car that Kurt Busch ran in 2022. Kurt Busch had an injury that season, couldn't race again, and now you gotta think there's a little bit that he's doing it for Kurt Busch. I don't know, but sure, let's just say that. Here we go, off turn 4, Smexy up to the line. White flag is waving, 1 to go in Texas after all the strategy, after all the pain and suffering. Smexy sped. He got punted into the pits, which he thought cost him the race. It was almost all over. He won stage 2. He was running the race of his life, just like he was at Miami. Had something go wrong. He recovered, and off turn 4, it's Smexy is gonna get it done in Texas. Smexy wins. 45 car is your winner in Texas. Oh man, we were 1 week late from the Cinderella story, but man, you gotta feel what a win, what a job by the 45 car. Oh man. Because I have do I want to do, you know, let's do an interview. We did an interview with Hendrick. Let's do an interview. Come on. I need to start a party because I haven't been in the party for a while now. So, close party. We're gonna get a better time. Hopefully he will join. I think he will. But hey, let's. I might try to just do interviews after every race because I feel like it. I'm not good at interviews though, so that's the only issue. Sexy. Did I pass him on the list? No. Is he just not appearing online? That'd be kind of funny. Because now I have to scroll all the way down. Oh, man. Oh, man. That's a little annoying. Anyways. Where is he? There he is. He's appearing offline, so I had to scroll all the way down on my friends list. However, what a job by Smexy. I cannot be more happier, more proud of Smexy. And today, he was 1 week late. Man, I wish, I said after Homestead, I was like, I was cheering for you, man. I really wanted you to win, because we could have 2 Cinderella stories. Either way, it doesn't matter, because he got his win. Just a week late, but it's fine. He still got his win. Wait in second start, can't make it up as he types in the Discord. I just join party. Hendrick obviously saying these cars weak. Hendrick finished second, runner up today, I'm pretty sure. He may have been, I don't fully know actually. I could be completely wrong on that. He's here though, he's here. Alright. Is your voice on?
It should be.
It should be? So, again, your second start, you were so close at Homestead, you ran a great race, 2 good races. You kind of went through a lot this race. Homestead, we saw you not really, like, go through much. You kind of were able to stay up front most of the race, and that's kind of expected. I know how you run, and usually you can stay up front. But this race, out of stuff that was not your own doing, you got put into the middle of the pack. How did you drive your way back up to the front to, like, have a shot to win?
Really, I don't know. It's usually a 1-lane track on the bottom, and you just gotta force your car in the holes that are barely there. I mean, it's kind of dirty, but you gotta do what you gotta do to get back in the front. And I think it was the last stage we was coming down pit road, and I got hit into there, and I sped. Well, that caution came out at a perfect time, and I was able to get back into the race, and that last green run, I was able to save gas, and since I was like 4th or 5th in line, so I think that set me up pretty good to take half a can at the end, and we got the win.
Yeah, when the caution came out and when we had a restart, I mean, I kind of figured you were saving, just like I figured most people were that were kind of in the middle of the pack were fully racing. But was that strategy clear off the start, or did you push for a couple laps and then realize like, oh, I can take half a can if I save, or was it just like since the start, I'm gonna save and take half a can?
Not really. I mean, you could have done like 3 different things. You could have like pit very early, take 4, or you can like take 2, which a lot of people did, and you can just risk it and go for the win and take half a can, and hopefully you make it on tires and gas.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How close were your tires, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, tires were good. I was like 15% when I crossed the line. So I was good on tire. It was just gas. Like, I was still at 1 lap crossing the line, but I would have probably sputtered an extra lap.
Yeah. Now I've heard a couple people's opinions. I feel like it's kind of fair to ask this, knowing this kind of was emphasis on. Well, this race kind of gave an emphasis on it. What's your opinion on the next gen cars at this track, or just in general?
At this track, well, I prefer Gen 6 cars and next gens around here, but yeah, I'd rather race Gen 6 around here. But I don't really like the Gen 6 cars except for like the road courses, because those are kind of like road course cars. But every other track, like mile and a half, is just pack racing, and I'm not really a big fan of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. That seems like the sentiment, at least around these cars, which some people have been like, why are we running these cars? There's also supposed to be, apparently, for people watching the stream, there's supposed to be, the championship race is supposed to be Charlotte
Oh, no.
next gen, which when the drivers saw that, they immediately hated it for good reason, because we saw Hennessy there a couple weeks ago, and that was just a bottom train. Everyone was fighting for the bottom. You thought they were fighting for the bottom here? It's a lot worse at Charlotte. So people are gonna try to get that changed. At least from what I've heard. I would be on board for that. Anyways, thank you for joining us for an interview. Good win.
Thank you.
But yeah. Anyways, I'm going to end off the stream. I basically said everything when I ended the stream the first time, before we got an invite. So, just next week I forget what track it is, but next week we'll be back at the same time. The stream will go up at 8:15. I'll do a little bit of pre-race, and then we can go right into the race.
I was gonna.
Yep. Heinz, your mic is cutting out. Anyways, I'm gonna end the stream, so